Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hi, how are you guys? So I'm back. As I always say at the start of my videos, I'm back with another video and going to talk about Java programming language. And today's topic is modifiers. So, what are modifiers? Let's learn them. Okay, guys, by now you are quite familiar with the public keyword. We have used many times in our examples before, like when we define a class, we call it public class main. So there are two types of modifiers in Java. We can divide them into two categories or groups. We can say access modifiers and non-access modifiers. So access modifiers actually control the access level to the code, and non-access modifiers do not control the access level but provide some other functionality. So we will see them now. So let's first look at the access modifiers, what they do. Access modifiers, we will see these two modifier types, access modifiers and non-access modifiers, first for the classes and then for the attributes, methods and constructors. So guys, like in my previous videos when we started object-oriented programming, when we talked about object-oriented programming, I told you there are certain things you need to master on, you need to memorize, you need to be fully aware. These terms are like classes, what are methods, what are constructors, what are objects, and what are attributes, right? So if you don't understand these concepts, it means you don't know object-oriented programming. So I hope from my previous videos you have clearly and fully understood these concepts. Okay, let's move forward. So here I have access modifiers. The first one is public. So if some class is public class, the class is accessible by other classes. Let's look at this code snippet. Here public class main is the public class, and whenever some class has to be public, you write public before the definition of the class, right? So if you have a public class, the class is accessible by other classes, as we have seen before. Like if we have two classes and we want to make object of other class sitting in one class, so the other class should be public so that we can access the other class from the first class, right? So this is the keyword public, and this is a special keyword. We call them modifiers. Don't forget this term, modifiers. So public, now we understand. Then we have attributes, methods and constructors. And what type of access modifiers do we have for these things? So first is public modifier for attributes, methods and constructor. The code is accessible for all classes. You mean public, as you know the word means, anyone can access anything, it's fully open. And then we have private modifier. Private modifier says the code is only accessible within the declared class. So let's look at this example. This is a little bit new for us. So in this class, public class main, we have certain these attributes: string, first name, last name, email and age 20. We have three strings and one integer. So all are starting with the keyword private. So it means these attributes cannot be accessed outside this class. These are private to this code zone, right? So public static void main, this is our main method. We make one object of this class and then print first name, last name, then we print out the email, and then we print out the age. So let's suppose I change the age to 26 and we run the code again. So we have access to these, whether we have access to these or not, these attributes or not, because we have access. We do have access because we are sitting in the same class. So when we are compiled and executed our code, we have this output. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay guys, and then we have protected keyword. Protected keyword for access control in attributes, methods, and constructors says the code is accessible in the same package and subclasses only. So it's a little bit relaxed than private. Private is very strict. Protected is somewhere in the middle of public and private, we can say, and the code is accessible in the same package and subclasses. So, but you will learn this the concept of packages and subclasses in inheritance chapter. When we reach there, I would try to touch this protected modifier again at that stage. But for now, just remember the code is accessible in the same package and subclasses when it is protected. Okay guys, non-access modifiers. Now we go to second group, which is non-access modifiers. They don't control the access, but they have some other things to do. For example, first look what are the access modifiers available for the classes. These are final and an abstract. So what is final? The class cannot be inherited by other classes. You will learn more about inheritance chapter. But if some class is final, it cannot be inherited. See here, we have two classes here. One class is called vehicle, and the other one is called other class is trying to extend the vehicle class. So because the vehicle class is final, it cannot be extended. So see here, we have when we are trying to run this code, when we are trying to compile, it says cannot inherit from final vehicle class extends. I mean, there's an error. So if I remove for a second this final keyword from here, or modifier, and try to compile it again, what you see here, we have oh, my code is running now, and what does it mean? Now the class is not final. It is accessible from outside. It can be extended, and we have the output here. Okay, I think you understand the word and the meaning of the final class. And then we have abstract classes. So what are abstract? The class cannot be used. I mean, if you define a class to be abstract, the class cannot be used to create objects, and to access an abstract class, it must be inherited from another class. You will learn more about this in upcoming video, but by now, we'll see what we have to offer. So in this we have two classes. One is main.java, and second class we have is second.java. In the main.java, what we have, one abstract class main, which has these attributes: string, first name, last name, email, age, and a method which is public abstract void study. We have not defined anything in its body. Then we have a class which extends the main class, and we have another integer defined in it, which is graduation year, which is we define here 2018. And then we are implementing public public void study, was abstract method in the main class, but now here we have defined its body. That is, we are printing one statement saying studying all day long. Okay, this is our main class. Then we go to second class, which contains the main method, and we are making an object of a student class. Okay, in the main we have, okay, students. Now we have already like extended the class main with other class called student. So we are making an object of class student. Create an object of student class which inherits attributes and methods from the main class. Okay, and then we are trying to print out uh, the attributes of this object. Okay, and then my object dot first name, last name, email, age, and a graduation year. Okay, guys, so one thing you need to know, in my extended class, I didn't define these first name, last name, email, and age. These were present in my abstract class, but when I have extended this class and given it name student, it also inherits other attributes as well. So in second.java, I have these system.println statements there, and what does it do? It's printing out with the help of this object information or attributes from here. Okay, and then at the end I am calling my object that study method, and this method call abstract method. Okay, and it says studying all day long. So but here we have defined or given the body to the study method. Okay, I hope you understand this concept here. So next, this is what we have for okay, abstract classes. Okay, next we move forward to attributes and methods. If some attribute is final attributes and methods cannot be overridden and modified. They will remain fixed. And then we have static. This term we are familiar with and we have used it before. Attributes and methods belong to class rather than object. So if in a class the method is static or attribute is static, we can access the method or attribute directly without you can say making object of that class. And then is abstract method and attribute. We just say what is abstract class. Now we are looking at abstract methods and attributes. So can only be used in abstract class. So if class is not abstract, we cannot have abstract attributes or methods, and can only be used, and this one abstract can only be used on methods. The method does not have any body. For example, abstract void run. The body is provided by the subclass inherited from. You will learn more about this inheritance and abstraction in upcoming chapter, but here you understand if a class is abstract, as we have seen, the class cannot be used to create objects, right? Then we have to make a new class and extend it, and then we can make its objects. And also the methods inside abstract can be abstract, and you need to do what? You need to have their body defined when you are extending them, as we have seen here. Here the method was abstract study, and when we are extending the class, we are defining its body. So this was about abstract. Then we have transient. These three modifiers are a little bit like advanced in the term. When we study these concepts in any upcoming video, you will understand them more clearly, but here I will just give a little bit explanation of that. Transient means attributes and methods are skipped when serializing the object containing them. Serialization is actually, for example, you have an object and you want to store that object on some storage media, or transport or transfer that object through some communication link to some other computer. So but during that process you don't want to like store some attributes and methods, then those methods you can define them at transient, right? So this is what this is about this modifier transient. Then you have two modifiers, synchronized and volatile. These are actually are used when you are having an application where you have multi-threading, and synchronized modifier says methods can only be accessed by one thread at a time. Okay, for example, if you have multiple threads in your application and they are accessing some class with objects, so but that there's a method that can be accessed only by one thread at a time. It cannot be accessed at the same time by multiple methods. And volatile, this again is used in multi-threading. The value of an attribute is not cached thread locally and is always read from the main memory. This is actually to avoid some data mismatch in multi-threading you can say applications. So these can be more clear. These are not easy to explain in words. If you wait, I'll bring videos about this later. You will be understanding in more detail or clearly. But anyways, in normal life, what we have mostly the final one, the final modifier. What did this do? As we have seen, if you don't want the ability to override existing attributes, just describe them as final. So here we have the final attributes, and there, and because we have defined these attributes as final, and if we are trying to change their value here, we will get an error here, right? As you can see here. But if I, for example, I remove this keyword final for a second and then see what will happen. Now my attributes are not final, and if I run them, so now I have access to this value and I can change them. So I hope you understand this concept. Now when they're not final, they're not fixed, we can change them. Okay, gents and girls and ladies, so let's move to our next topic, which is static static what modifier. Okay, static modifier we have used before many times. Here we have example for the explanation. Okay, we have one class main, and we have one static method, my static method. Then we have public method. Okay, then we have main method, and I can call static method directly without making object. Okay, and then I come down here, I have to define or create an object of main class, my object, and my object dot my public method, call the public method, and it will be executed. So let's look at the example. So right here I'm executing it and it's going fine. So if, for example, for a second, if I also make this method public, what will happen? Oh, see here, non-static method, my static method cannot be referenced from a static context, right? So compiler is giving us error, and I change it to static again and run the code again. What's going to happen? Okay, my code is now error free and works fine. So now look at the modifier called abstract. Abstract method Okay, belongs to an abstract class as we have seen and learned before, and it does not have a body. The body is provided by the subclass. Okay, guys, so look carefully on this code. We have an abstract class called main, which contains public attributes called first name and age, and a method called study, which is abstract with nothing defined in its body. Okay, next we go to class student, which extends this class, and here we are adding an other attribute called graduation year 2018, and public void study method is now changing from abstract to public void. The body of the abstract method is provided here, and we are printing studying all day long. Okay, so now we have class second, which contains main method. We define an object called my object of class student, and then I print the attributes from this object, and these are public attributes, so I need object and full name, first name, age, graduation year, and at the end I am calling study method through object, and that prints out studying all day long. Okay, so here is execution of my code, and you can see the result of this is second class, and this is first file. We have two files, main.java and second.java. Okay, so these are in two files, just don't forget. Sorry, and code of main.java, this is one file, and this is second file. Okay guys, this was a little lengthy video, but this was very important. These concepts are extremely important, you need to understand them, and generally these access modifiers and all that is actually to protect your code, to secure your code, so that some unwanted access to some data is not provided in your code, and it is more secure. So I hope this has been informative for you. You learned something, and do share, subscribe my channel, and share my videos with other friends and colleagues, so that other people can also take advantage from it. And please give comments, and if you have any question there, I will try my best to answer. Bye, I'll be back again. Till that time, take care, and bye and Allah Hafiz. See you, friends.